As families in the Atlanta area get help from our heroes after Helene dumped a dangerous level of rain. Tonight, Atlanta News First has team coverage for you, and we start with Patrick Quinn. Flooding in northwest Atlanta in a state of emergency from Atlanta's mayor.
Just about 2 hours ago, Mayor Andre Dickens did declare a state of emergency for the city of Atlanta, and you don't have to look far to see why. Cars underwater, homes submerged, people had to be evacuated, and now we're just starting to see this region start to dry out. From above northwest Atlanta, one of the many homes underwater and a baseball field completely submerged. In this Buckhead neighborhood, we met Walt Deriso, walking out his front door faced with feet of water. I called him on the phone from across the stream.
Everybody from down here is safe. There's some who did have to swim out of the house.
Walt then waded across his front yard to talk with us with a resilient spirit. He knows while bad, it could have been much worse.
I think just a place of gratitude of everyone here is safe, and we realize that although it's very impactful, it could have been much worse. And family is the most important thing. Everything else is replaceable.
Atlanta Fire helped rescue more than 25 people stranded in their homes. Luckily, nobody was reported hurt in northwest Atlanta tied to the flooding, but the wrath of the waters was widespread. This car submerged, a total loss. This one too, and a MARTA bus stranded. Peachtree Creek flooded, spilling thousands of gallons of water and in some places sewage in the surrounding neighborhood.
Went up to here. You can see it, like you can see the line.
Timothy Resch had to trudge through the waters to meet his food delivery driver. Resch caught off guard by the depths of destruction.
This is quite a shock for me. I knew the storm, it was unpredictable for many areas in Georgia. I just didn't think we were going to get the brunt of this. And back here live from northwest Atlanta, if you're a member of the Galloway Scots baseball or softball team, this is a look at your baseball field or softball field. It is receding, so we are seeing some progress, but yes, it is completely still submerged in water. Now, that state of emergency declaration, it went into effect immediately here in Atlanta, and that allows the city to tap into state and federal dollars to help speed up recovery. We're live tonight in northwest Atlanta. Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.
Just incredible images and personal stories, Patrick. Thank you.